Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Oman with Guided by the Omens, and this is your 2026 Overlook to see what kind of energy is going on for all of us for this year ahead. I'd like to do this special for you to give you a little bit of understanding on the energies in the astrology, but also pick a couple of detail cards to see how we can navigate it to make our lives and our experience a little bit more smooth of a transition this year. So it is a powerful year. I'm just going to say that. The astrology is still very shifty, especially when it comes to the collective consciousness. Let's talk about it. The world is changing. It really is. And how we change is up to us, based off of how we react to it. If we go into fear, then we're going to have a very fearful experience of all the shifts that are going to be taking place. But if we come at it with a lot of maturity, wisdom, understanding, and observation, we might find that we can navigate those challenging moments with more grace, and we can also get through it maybe with even a little bit more abundance and authenticity. But that is up to you on how you either trust it and you throw your hands up and go, you know what, I'm on a roller coaster and I'm going to kind of enjoy the ride, or I'm going to white knuckle this darn thing and I'm going to resist and be angry and frustrated and resentful this entire time. And if you've ever been on a roller coaster, you've seen people choose one or the other. And that's what I'm going to say 2026 is. There's a lot of big shifts that have happened in the last half a decade in the bigger planets. So there's a couple different, the way astrology works, that there's these, I hate to call them minor planets, but I call them personality planets. It's Mercury and Mars and Venus, and those guys move very, very quickly. And as we move with those are the things that are very changeable. They move very quickly as well. Then there are these bigger planets, and it pretty much starts with Jupiter. We have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. These guys have longer transits. Jupiter is a year transit. Saturn is 2.5 years. Uranus is like 7 years. Neptune could be 12 years. Pluto is like 20 years. So these are these energies that work in the collective consciousness. And when these planets shift signs, the whole planet is going to feel it. The whole world feels it. And that is when we get major transitions when it comes to transportation, the world, a lot of wars, plagues, COVID, things like that. And so we're seeing these shifts because the collective has to shift their perspective in a very quick way. And we have a couple of those shifting this year, and that's what I want to talk about. I'm going to go over, so this is going to be a little bit of a longer video, so you can take this in bite-sized pieces. You can also grab a notebook and take some notes for some dates that you want to keep in mind, and also maybe particular things that are in your chart that may affect you more than someone else. Okay, so you might want some notes. Again, I'm going to do a little astrology and a little cards, give you a little balance, give you a little advice and guidance on how to navigate these transits. So I hope that you're having a good new year to start with. A lot of people have been telling me that they had a hard 2025. And it might have been because it was also the year of the snake. And when we have the year of the snake, it's a lot about shedding old skins, shedding old identities, and shedding people and situations and jobs that are no longer serving our alignment. And we're about to move into the year of the fire horse, which is about passion. It's about a lot of forward momentum. But again, I just want you to know there's still a lot of shifts happening. So there's a lot of, in that fire horse energy, maybe we can't overthink it. this year. We maybe have to be, and I hate to use this word, but I'm going to say it anyway. We might have to be a little bit more impulsive or reactionary, where we have to trust our instincts rather than just our logic, where things might come at us so quickly that you just have to trust your body. You have to trust kind of where you're feeling, your instinctual knowing, your intuitive knowing of like, let's go that way. Let's go that way. Let's go that way. And that's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out. You're going to create whatever this is in the moment, and your instincts are there to support you. The first thing I'm going to talk about here, because this is the first big transit that is going to be shifting, we have Neptune moving from Pisces. And Pisces, it's been in Pisces for over 12 years at this point, and it's moving into Aries. And it will be in Aries for 12 years. Now, this will end a 165-year Neptune cycle. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, and Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So this beautiful Neptune planet has been moving along and is finally ending its cycle again on January 26th of this year. And so it's moving out of this Piscean. Now, Neptune is ruled by Pisces, and Neptune is all around our connection to God, this higher understanding of the world, if you will, and our spiritual understanding. Maybe our religious beliefs are changing, and we might be coming out of more like 165 years, you guys, like the way that religion has been placed upon us in the last 165 years. And now we get to choose. We get to choose what that looks like. Now, Aries is ruled by Mars. This is very action-oriented of an energy. So you might have to pick a side. You might have to change your beliefs a little bit here with this energy, because it's a new cycle. It's a new cycle for all of us. And we might see world religions changing in a very rapid way. We might have to have a little bit more of a global understanding or tolerance of other people's religions, so we don't go into war about it, because Aries is the sign of war. Now, there's a couple, and I'll go into this in greater detail later, but there's a couple of pretty big planets in the sign of Aries, and it just shifted. So we did go through these big energetic ending cycles of an entire kind of way that the world has been operating, and we're moving into something else. And the first one is the first sign is like the I am, who's my new identity, and taking action on that. But it's also can connect to this war energy. And I believe and I hope we are bringing a different consciousness and some new healing into war energy. How do we have conflict without blowing each other up? Can we find that maturity? And if we can't, like, it's detrimental for everybody. So if you have fear, if your consciousness is moving into fear around these warring energies, then it is up to you to pull your energy back. That's your vote. Your energy is your vote. Pull it back and pray for maturity here. Pray for a new way. Don't feed the wolf that you don't want to see. Start feeding that maybe we can grow up around how we have conflict in the world and finding better resolutions in that way. So I want to pick a couple cards for this Neptune shift. Again, this happens on January 26th. Oh, that's kind of fun. Let me give it one more. Okay. So the first card I have is about that shift. So it's like there's a cycle here literally, but it's a lunar cycle here, but it's a cycle where what we focus on might be different. So in an individual level for you in this Neptune energy is you might have to shift your beliefs a little bit, and it might take you a bit of a process and getting to know yourself in a different way. Like your whole family lineage might have been Christian or Catholic or Buddhist or Jewish. And you have to ask yourself, that's great. That's the foundation I had. But does what the church or synagogue or temple is what they're preaching resonates or aligns with who I am? And if it's not, or it feels like something's missing, don't be afraid to dig a little deeper into your own heart to feel what's missing. You know, all these people preach about this, that, and the other thing, and they're damning everybody to hell. And I believe in love. I don't believe in damning anybody. Like, I believe in being patient and understanding and finding those scriptures in your religious text that show you it's more about love or healing than it is about fighting and being right. And if you can find that, then you can start honoring maybe your religion again in a different way, finding a new church, finding a new congregation or a community that appreciates and understands and is in alignment with the way you want to move forward. The next card that I have is the Empress card in reverse. The world is shifting here. There's the moon again. And maybe it's bringing more feminine energy to religion. It's been very patriarch for a while. So it might be you embracing and understanding the feminine way. And it might not just be like the feminine, but it might be the earth. It might be learning that things are cyclical and not linear. Honoring that the mother is just as important as the father when it comes to religion. And when we can really embrace that within ourselves and honor the feminine way, where it doesn't just have to be production, because that's not sustainable, or do as I say, or the wrathful God. It can also be a very loving God. It could be a very forgiving God. We can have a very nurturing, motherly energy when it comes to God. And I listen to a lot of people, God's not a woman. Well, is God a man? Like, is God a gender? Is God a sex? I don't know. God is everything, right? So if we could start seeing this with a little bit more balance, I think we can start creating something with a little bit more collaboration. The Three of Pentacles is telling me that we need to learn how to work together. That this might be Christianity. This might be Buddhism, this might be Judaism, pick a religion, stick it there, right? That we're all on the same tapestry. And if we do not start working together, we're going to have a really ugly tapestry. Or we're going to rip the tapestry apart where it doesn't need to be ripped. It needs to be honored. And we need to honor ourselves for our own beliefs and allowing ourselves to shift that, and also allowing others to have their own belief system. And can we move forward? There's this moving forward with our different flavor, our different color, and we all move in the same direction. In our store, the Chakra Shop, if you've been here in St. Augustine, this is our particular belief structure. We have 7 different sections dedicated to the chakras. And in every section, we have different deity statues that honor a different culture, especially a culture that we've actually studied. I have Native Americans and Mesoamerican in the root chakra that's really connecting us to the earth, and those practitioners that still honor Pachamama and honor the divine spirit of mother and the animals and plants and being in harmony with that. Then in the sacral chakra, I have the Hindu deities, or the deities from India. That is something very connected to my own practice. I lived in India with Amma, a guru, and she taught me so much about love. And So that is really connecting us to this creative nature. It's still kind of earthy and like getting to the like core of our spiritual nature and really living on this planet. Maybe it might be karmic. Then in the solar plexus, I have the Egyptian deities, so they love the sun, and that empowerment and that part of our human evolution and our history. Then in the heart chakra, I have Mary and Jesus. I have the Christian deities. Because what Jesus and what Mary really preach is love at the core and the heart of it all is forgiveness. Jesus died on the cross with forgiveness. Mary, which if you choose Mary, Mother Mary or Magdalene, they had to learn love in their own way. And we have to honor the feminine in that particular religion too, because they take it out a lot. In the throat chakra, I have the angelic deities, all the angels. That helps us communicate our truth and seeing everybody as an angel and not as demons. And then in the third eye, we have the Greeks and the Celtic, the Druid, honoring that foundation that we took in our society. With our politics, we took a lot from the Greeks. And so for us to honor those traditions and understanding the mythology on that is very beautiful for our own human understanding. And then last but not least, in the crown chakra, I have I have Buddha and I have Tara and I have Kuan Yin, and they help us calm the mind, understand, see above things. And so if we can honor all of these cultures and even beyond, my store is tiny, so I can't have everybody, but if we understand that we're all working in harmony together and it's just a different color in a different section, blue's not prettier than red, you just might prefer one over the other. And that is where we find harmony. And so that is what I have for the Neptune shift. The next shift that we have going on we have Saturn moving from Pisces to Aries as well. So these two planets are kind of doing this very close together. That's going to happen the day before Valentine's Day, February 13th. So 26th, we have Neptune shifting on January, and then Saturn is going to be shifting from Pisces to Aries on February 13th. So Saturn is about how we mature. And so if you have anything in Pisces, you've had quite an interesting few years. We'll just say that. And Saturn does its transit for 2.5 years. And this is a really big growth. Okay. It can be difficult because Saturn can feel heavy. It cuts out things. It says, grow up, mature here. And that's when we can go, oh, I don't want to. And we've been having to mature our religious beliefs the last 2.5 years. Now we're going to have to mature how we take action. Now we're going to have to make sure who we think we are. And we're going to have to mature our relationship to conflict. Okay, I don't want to say war. I'm going to say conflict because that is a little bit more personal. Like, yeah, there's wars going on for sure. There are. But if we learn how to manage conflict before it turns into the war, that's the maturity, okay? So let me pull a couple cards for this transit. Oh, this is so moving forward, you guys. This is so good. I actually really like this energy of what I got. So the first card I have is the Knight of Swords. Look, he is focused on something. He is being guided here by something above him that sees the path ahead. But what did I say about this year? It's instinctual. You have to honor your instincts. If you see a goal, it's okay to move forward with focus, with kind of, I hate to say tunnel vision because, he's getting on a vehicle and he can kind of go where he wants to go here, but he knows he's got to get to that vehicle and that is going to take him on his path in a further way. And the present position here is the Chariot, another vehicle. This is also major arcana. So this is almost like the major arcana of this. We have an idea, run with it. Then you start to realize this wasn't just an idea, it was destiny. And it's balance between the light and the dark. And so when we have those two horses riding together, we know we are in the right direction. We are right in harmony with ourselves. All we have to do is get on there and hold the reins and make sure that you are continuing your path forward. Things are going to move forward for you this year. Things you've been working on for quite a long time might take a whole new direction with a whole lot more fuel and fire and energy. And even though it has felt like, I've had to like gutturally gut my soul. Like I've had to pull out things that maybe my ancestors from hundreds of years hadn't even looked at. Yeah, you had a clean house. You had a clean major house to get you ready for where this is about to take you. In the future position, the Lovers card. So there's a lot of balance here and a lot of balance of the masculine and feminine energies. This could also mean having a new relationship or a relationship that is very working together. The Lovers is a relationship card, but it's also balancing our masculine and feminine energies. And that keeps coming up where we don't just honor the patriarch, but we honor the feminine as well. And we honor the way of taking action, but also pulling back and finding our intuition and like right, left, right, left, right, left, right? So it's both feet moving in harmony with one another instead of just trying to do jumping on one leg. Because our right side is our masculine side, our left side is our feminine side. And if we're only using the masculine, or I like this analogy better, wings of a bird. If we're only flying with one wing, we're spinning around in circles, right? So if we can find the harmony between our masculine and feminine sides, we are flying in where we want to go. I'm also getting, if we have an issue with the masculine or if we have an issue with the feminine, it is time to heal. It is time to forgive your father, forgive your mother, forgive your masculine side that wanted to push too hard and brought you into burnout, or your receptive side that was in apathy and didn't want to do anything. It's time to bring these two beings back to alignment within your own soul. And so that you can feel the love, the harmony. What I love about these two, it's also going to heal your relationship dynamics. They're seeing each other, and right in the middle there is a Merkaba. Now, our logo is a Merkaba, and we did this on purpose because me and Ryan decided to do this together in harmony with the masculine and feminine. And do we always see eye to eye? No, we don't. We don't. But that's okay. We also have honored, like, that's your task, that's my task, don't worry about it, I got you. When we need to be in alignment, how can we be in alignment? And sure, there's bickering, but there's still a lot of love and honoring, and we see each other in a certain way that helps us not work against each other, but work with each other. And so what I see with this is if you learn how to work with the feminine and the masculine energies in harmony, there's so much more love, so much more balance. That Merkaba is the divine masculine, the divine feminine working in harmony, and the Merkaba is the chariot. That's the translation. It can take you wherever you want to go. It's also the symbol for the heart chakra. Once we get in our hearts, you can move around anywhere. You can travel dimensions. You can move forward in your career and your relationships. So we need to get back into the center point of our heart, the balance of the masculine and feminine, so that we have access to pretty much everything. And then the theme of this particular transit is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is all about moving forward. Where we put our energy is what we grow, right? So it's dropping new seeds. And sometimes it's not like they're all kind of looking forward here. It's not about like trying to control it. Sometimes it's dropping a seed in the right place and you turn around and you're like, oh, the orchard's growing. I dropped those seeds and who knew they were going to be watered? But, you know, dropping seeds in fertile ground. And so you're on your path, you're dropping seeds, things are growing. You don't have to control everything. You're just on your alignment. And when you're on your alignment, things can move forward in a way that you don't have to worry about every single little detail. Things are being taken care of behind the scenes because you're in alignment. Okay, let's move forward. The next shift that we're going to be having is Uranus going from Taurus, which has been in the sign of Taurus for 7 years. And my husband's a Taurus and he went through a massive transition. I watched him do this. So Taurus, yay, you are coming to your graduation. And the funny thing, it's coming out of Taurus on my husband's birthday on April 25th of 2026. And it's moving into Gemini. So Geminis and anybody who has Gemini prominent in their chart, which I am a Gemini rising. So if you're a Gemini rising, your personality might have or your identity or your outward identity might have a big shift. But if you have prominent Gemini energies, you're going to have a big evolution. So Uranus is it can be a breakthrough. We might come up to a point where we're like, enough is enough. I can't do this. I mean, I literally can't do this anymore. I have to shift completely. So this can bring about some major upheavals, which you might bring in career change, moves, divorces, new marriages, things that are really going to evolve your soul. Not necessarily in a bad way. There is a breakdown, but there definitely is a breakthrough. And this isn't to punish you. This is to evolve you. It's to bring you into another aspect of yourself that maybe has laid dormant for way too long that we didn't focus on. And now the energies are like, sorry, I got to focus on this now. You've been ignoring your relationships or you've been ignoring this part of your career. You've hated it for years. So we're going to go, oh, guess what? We got something better. But know that there is something better. My husband, when he went through this transit 7 years ago, he got adrenal fatigue. He was a personal trainer for many years and it wasn't his passion. And he blew out his adrenals and he went into a massive depression and he started meditating and he started with Zen Buddhist meditation where they keep their eyes open. I happen to have a chakra tapestry on the wall and that's what he stared at. And he started like connecting and he's like, these symbols are talking to me. I'm like, yeah. He's like, am I going crazy? I'm like, no. And I invited him to a retreat that we were doing and he ended up having a huge breakthrough. He purchased his singing bowls at that retreat in Sedona. And he got himself out of adrenal fatigue in 6 months and shifted his entire trajectory. And he was able to integrate with me, even though that was a lot of breakdown, a lot. And not just with us, but more like our whole life fell apart. We went through a fire, we went through a move, we went through everything. And now we own a crystal store, you know? My husband would have never thought that he would be, a literal co-partner in this with me. And we're doing really well. And we had to go through all that breakdown and looking back at it, I'm like, oh, that was really, really. But at the same time, it brought him to this new confidence in who he is. And if you are a Gemini or have a lot of planet placements in Gemini, this will be the grandest shift of your entire life. And I was reading that when it was going into Taurus, like, you will never change as much as you will right now. And I watched him do it. I was part of it. I held space for it. It changed me. But at the same time, it's exactly what we needed to create whatever destiny that we have together. So know that whatever this is going to be, in Gemini energy for all of us, is around our mind. It's around the hemispheres of the brain. Again, masculine and feminine, logic versus intuition. It's also around the way we communicate. It's the way that we process information. So you might end up going back to school. You might end up learning a new skill or a new lesson. You might end up writing a book. You might end up doing something that's honoring both your masculine or your logical side and your feminine and intuitive side, where you can't leave either one of them out. They're both wings of the bird, or they're both hemispheres of the brain, and they need to work together. And so if you are leaning heavily on your intuition, it's time to honor your logic. If you're heavily leaning on your logic, then you might have some, that's what Ryan did, you might have some really hard lessons that you don't have everything figured out, right? So let's look real quick and see. I love it. Okay. For the Gemini energy. Okay. So the first card I have is the Two of Cups. These two hemispheres working together, and they're both being honored in the same way. This is also an honoring of relationship and honoring our differences, that there's this beautiful spectrum of light, and that nobody is right or wrong, that we just have to see it in a different way, that somebody might be just carrying a different perspective than us. That's very Gemini energy. So we might have to evolve the way we relate to ourselves and to others. This is ourselves here. So this is about really being grounded during this time period. Gemini is air energy. So they're like, to combat all the evolution around the mind, you need to get grounded. That's how to balance that, right? So what's going to feel really good in your body? What foods are going to be supportive? What physical practices can we do? Do we need to look at our finances and get more budgeted and become a little bit more mature in this way as we evolve? Because our mind is going into a little state of the upside down. Our mind, you might go, oh my God, I don't even know what I believe anymore. I don't know what I think anymore. And that's okay. Just get grounded. You don't have to believe anything. What you might have to do is take care of yourself, physically orient yourself, take care of your bare necessities as the mind wants to evolve in a way, because the thinking that we have in the world needs to shift. I think that there's more insanity in the normal than people who are those outliers. The outliers are outliers because they did their inner work, and everybody needs to catch up. The last thing, when we go through a healing process, I always say this to my clients, when we go through a healing process, our mind wants to figure it out. Our mind wants to have a knowing. Our mind wants to control it. But to be honest with you, your mind is the last one to get it. It's like the body gets it first. Ooh, I don't feel good. Maybe you feel sick, or maybe there's a disease in the body that draws your focus because it came from a mental issue. We don't realize it. We didn't focus on it. So the body's got to go, hey, there was a consequence here. You need to look at this. So then we have to take care of our physical body. Then the emotional body. I didn't process all of these emotions. And spirit has been with us the entire time. That's what's driving this whole thing. And then our mind's like, I don't understand what's happening to me. I feel like a victim here. What did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening? Why is my whole life falling apart? And then you go through your journey, and at the end of it, it goes, oh, that's why. And it takes hindsight to get the mind there, because the mind wants certainty. And when you're going through change, there's no certainty. That's the whole point of change. You have to trust what you're going through. And the only thing that you can do is take care of your physical body, because the physical body is never out of the moment. The mind is the only one out of the moment. It always is clinging to the past or fretting about the future and clinging to the past and fretting about the future. The body and the breath are always right here in the present moment. So if you can connect to the present moment and connect to your physical body and what your physical needs are in this moment, you're going to honor the change that you have to go through. Here's the Fool card again. So the Fool card is saying there's a safety net here, even though it doesn't feel like it sometimes. Things are going to have to shift, and you don't have control over it all the time. You might just have to have some surrender that it is happening for your highest and greatest good, even if your mind doesn't understand it. But you're also going to take the part of you that still serves you. You're just going to have to change how you do things a little bit. And it's going to take a minute. That's okay. Your mind has to catch up, slow down, catch up, slow down. This is going to go through your mind is going to go through a big transformation. Not just this year, but it's starting another 7-year cycle. So, yay. But we gotta kind of evolve our minds. I mean, look at the way that our belief structures are in the world right now. It needs some evolution. Okay. Let's talk about Jupiter. The next one I have is Jupiter. Jupiter is currently in Cancer, which is a water sign. So if you're a Cancer, you're probably going to feel this. Jupiter is usually an expansive energy, so you might be feeling more expansive. Your home might be growing. There might be like new people coming into your life, maybe a new baby or a grandbaby. Cancer energy is a lot about home and family. So that might be going on in your life, depending on where your placements are. Cancer energy is also around your relationship to your mother or relationship to your children. And if you're a Cancer, this is going to be a very auspicious time. And that started this summer, and it will end almost exactly in the middle of the year, and it will go into Leo on June 30th. So then Leo, guess what? It's your turn, Leo. Woohoo! Leo likes Jupiter energy. Oh, I get to expand. I get to be me. Woohoo! So also for us, that brings new creativity into our lives. It brings in more play, more fun, more inner child. Now, if you haven't done some inner child work, you might have to do some inner child work so you can trust to be a little bit more creative or playful in your life. So this might be kind of a fun energy, but that's not going to shift again until June. But I do want to pull some cards for this, just because Jupiter energy is where we're expanding. So let's pull a couple of cards. Oh my goodness, I'm getting the same cards. Hold on. I got the same cards. Let's see if I could get, maybe not. Maybe I should have just kept them there. Oh my gosh, I got them again. Okay, all right. All right, now they're a little different, but we're... That card was like, I'm not going anywhere. Okay. So let's talk about the Knight of Swords. I got the Chariot too, but I put it back. Oh, it's right here. It's not leaving us. Okay, it is what it is. So whatever we have been working on, remember how we had this card? Whatever your mind is on, it's time to really kind of double down on that instinctual hit that you have, and that it's going to pull you forward into your destiny. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. You're still going to be working on that. That's what's expanding. This idea that you have, whatever is pulling you, driving you forward, it definitely feels destined here, especially for those cards to keep coming. And I kept shoving them back in. They're like, no, you can't shove that in. That's what she said. Sorry. Whatever is driving you forward is going to continue to be highlighted. And you might be making a decision at this point. It might not just be like an emotional feeling like, I want to do this, or I feel like I want this new relationship or this new career or write this book. No, when it's in Leo, there's a light going to be on it. So by June, you need to focus on this in the beginning of the year, whatever this is, because let me tell you something, there is going to be some light, some big things coming from this by the middle of the year. The card for it is the Hermit. So it's not just going to create something out in the world. It's whatever you're focusing on is going to create you, and it's going to come from an inner wisdom. It's like an extension of you. So if you have, this might be a career. So your business that you create is just going to be a massive extension of the light that you carry. It might be a baby, and that baby is the extension of you and the light that you carry. It might be a relationship, and it's an extension of you and the light that you carry. It's going to be a reflection of all the work and the inner knowing that you are. So it's just going to be the external world going, yep, that's you. That's why it's reflecting to you. And it's not in a bad way. It's in a very, very good way. There's a lot of celebration. This looks like maybe potentially a new home, this is like summer festivals, a lot of new community, new friendships, new celebration, new ways to express yourself, new ways to dance in every of all the hard stuff that you've been through. And it's a lot about honoring this. Your struggle, but this is it. Let's go sing and dance and play and joy and all of that, says Leo. Leo loves that. And then the theme of this is the Ace of Cups. Your heart is open. Like, look at all this light coming from your heart. Like, look at all of this. This is like, you get to be yourself. You're in your heart. You get to express it. You get to shine it. You get to be it. And people are going to resonate with that. They're going to want to be around that. It's infectious. It's loving. It's good. It's good vibes. I mean, this is so Cancer and Leo together. It really is. Cancer is all about like love and sharing love, and the Ace of Cups, it's that emotion and feeling, but then the shine there is like, Leo, my heart is open. I want to share it. So there's a lot of sharing love, sharing whatever you've been working your little tushy off. You get to finally like bask in the reward of it all. So that's lovely. One of the things I want to talk about before I finish up, there's three things that I want to focus on. We had a shift of Pluto a few years ago. It was like 2-3 years ago. Pluto moved from the sign of braining, my brain. It's in Aquarius. It was in Capricorn. There you go. I couldn't think of the thing, but it's in the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is the collective consciousness. This is where our karma is now. There's a huge shift in that. I'm going to pull a card because we are in this Pluto energy. Yeah, things are shifting. The world is shifting a lot in this Pluto energy within us. It might be switching within our communities. So your community might shift. You might have resonated with a certain community, but now you have to find one that's a little bit more connected to your alignment, a place that you can feel seen and celebrated and honored. You might even take a leadership position in a community. This is somebody who's on stage and saying things that may be a little controversial to most, but in this community, it's not controversial at all. Everybody's like, you're preaching to the choir, wee. And so this is a beautiful energy, but you also have to move on from maybe anything that doesn't, any community, any friendships, any people that are just poo-pooing on your parade. And yes, some of that might come with betrayal and baggage, but we have to move on so that you can find the community that you need. Keep moving forward. There might have been a bit of a blow up. This feels like for me, geez, oh Pete, I had the Golden Collective. a couple years ago. That blew up. I lost like all my friends. I only took like a handful of friends from that community with me, or they took me. I don't know. It was mutual, I guess, on a lot of accounts. And starting over. But even if you had a blow up here, if you had a blow up in your community or at a church or in a friendship group, it doesn't mean that it's always going to be chaotic, that you can find like that maybe you had to come out of this safety and like you were tucked in and you're like, oh, I'm safe here, so I don't really have to share myself to the world. I can just stay in this little cozy incubator. And the universe is like, nope. You have to let go of everything so you can really thrive and you can kind of share those acorns that you had like stuffed in. It also came with a lot of transformation that needs to be shared as well. And not playing victim that you had to let go of that community, but really honoring the new community that's being created because of it. That one was hard for me. That was a hard lesson. That one sucked. I'll be completely honest with you. That one was like one of the hardest lessons. And I've been through some hard things in my life. But my lesson, letting go of my community and the Golden Collective, rocked my little booty. Hold on. I dropped a card. Sorry. And then I have this. And this is the 10 of Pentacles, where there's stability coming when it comes to community friendships and family members too. There might be healing around that as well. Okay, so this is where I want to cycle something that I talked about before. Let's talk about Chiron. Chiron is an asteroid, and not everybody talks about Chiron, but Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is where we felt wounded in the past, or the collective. There's a collective wound, and whatever sign it's in, that's what we're working on. And guess what? Chiron currently is in the sign of Aries. War, conflict, and figuring out what our new identity is. So as we are going to be focusing on healing war. So there's a lot of conflicts going around in the planet today, right? There's all these like little conflicts that it has potential to get bigger. But do we want to get them bigger? So we got to look at our own wars that we're waging within ourselves all the time. Can we heal them? Can we heal the conflict? Or are we going to continue to battle? Are we going to continue to need to be right? Is there resolution in our own conflicts? Now, it will move out of Chiron into Taurus in the almost a little after the middle of the year. It's going to go into Taurus, then it's going to retrograde back into Aries before the end of the year. So this is going to be Aries, Taurus kind of shifting. Taurus is ruled by Venus, but I also think that it's ruled by the Earth. So what we are learning, like what the reality of the Earth is going to be. Are we going to heal the planet, or are we going to blow it up? I don't think we're going to blow it up at this point. What I understand about other things, something called the yugas and the time frames, if we blow it up, that would be so stupid. But we don't need to do that again. But we need to learn how to work together, right? So let's see what Chiron and Aries has in store for us this year. We can heal this. You are more powerful than you think you are. Yes, yes, and yes. Chiron in Aries is talking about there can be harmony, but you got to connect to this rainbow bridge. I talk a lot about the store, but what we honor is the 7 aspects of love, and we call that the rainbow bridge. It's love in every chakra. It's love in every aspect of our life, from pragma to eros, romance, to philautia, which is self-love, storge is family, philautia is our communities, ludos is our vision, what we see in the world, where we're going, and agape, our connection to God. And that rainbow bridge is a it is like a cheat code. It is the bridge between the chaos. And if you anchor into that, you can create whatever the heck you want. What you focus on, if you're focusing on fear, you're going to have a very fearful experience of this world. Look at this rainbow bridge. Oh my goodness, love it. But if you're focusing on love, that is the experience you're going to have. You get to choose. You can see the love in others and love in the world, and we can heal this darn thing with the rainbow bridge. We can get the cheat code up, up, down, down, left, right, select, start. I don't remember it all. I'm the kid from the 80s. But the bridge of love, the aspects of love, the rainbow bridge is that middle path that we can have to create what you want. And it has the ability to shift our reality in a very quick turnaround here. Oh yeah, that's your reality? How about you shift over to love and see what you manifest there? It is different and it's better. So that is what we're getting with this Chiron and Aries. You got to just figure out what you want. What do you want? Do you want a life of fear or you want a life of love? It's as simple as that. Okay, there's one more thing that I want to talk about for 2026, and that's the retrogrades. Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury retrogrades, everybody talks about Mercury retrogrades because that's when the mind has to kind of go on reset for a second and we have to kind of come back in, see what's not working in our lives to move forward. And every single one of the Mercury retrogrades is in a water sign this year. Seriously, they are. So we started out in Pisces, then there's one in Cancer, then there was one in Scorpio. And so that means our mind and our emotions are going to have a little bit of a reintegration with each other. Is our emotions working with our mind, and is our minds working with our emotions? Let me have a couple of cards for these retrogrades and what we are learning. There is a lot of weird energy with the Mercury retrogrades. The Nine of Cups, this is usually a card of getting our wish fulfilled, but this feels like the wishes that weren't fulfilled. And so it might be some emotional disappointments that might come up for us in our Mercury retrograde, and what we have built our belief around ourselves based off of the failures or the wishes or God didn't bring you that prayer. Why was I not deserving? No, that's not what we were saying. It was because we needed you to become more resilient. And you needed, instead of me just handing you the puppy, you needed to earn the money and learn how to be responsible enough to have the puppy, right? So it wasn't because we were punishing you. It was because you needed to learn something here. And so there is a new relationship to our struggles that we need to have, that maybe we put on our worth, like God didn't think I was worthy. That wasn't the reason. So we have to kind of unravel our mind a little bit around things that we were disappointed in, and starting to see a new perspective and a higher perspective. This is the King of Swords, a more worthy perspective of ourselves for the failures that we have. So that's what it feels like. It feels like we're going to have a renegotiation around how we feel about ourselves around failure and success. Okay, so that is the reading. Let me give a general couple of cards for 2026 for all of us here today, and then we will close. That Chariot card. Oh boy, we are moving forward. And we might, oh my goodness. This is actually a very good reading, you guys. I'm like, cool. I'm going to save this one for myself. So first we have the Chariot for the year. This is moving forward. You might be going through a move, but in a really beautiful way. It looks like we're buying a house this year. So that looks like, woohoo, we are. You will move forward on things that are really in alignment with you. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright position, that means there's going to be change, but it's destiny oriented. And that you can take all this crazy astrology and you can turn it into your Wheel of Fortune. You can. It doesn't have to, even though the world looks crazy, you can be in your alignment and make it towards your favor. You can find the rainbow bridge and like walk the path. Everybody's like struggling and you're like, la, 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 la. I found love, so I'm walking and all the chaos, like something's blowing up over here and you're like, oh, I got gas. I'm good. We got my family. We're good to go. So the changes don't need to be detrimental. These changes are in your favor. And then happy family, happy life, abundant, like everything you're needing is coming to you. There's people celebrating. There's big lineage issues that are beginning to heal. You're beginning to reconnect, resolve conflicts that might have been going on for many years. And people are beginning to realize that life is maybe too short to be in conflict, and maybe it's just better to get along. It's better to be kind than to be right. But it looks like there's a lot of bridges being mended. There's a lot of like old rifts being mended. There's a lot of maturity happening. So this is the Six of Cups, where maybe some childhood wounds are beginning to, like, you're getting that hindsight and you're having, I hate to say nostalgia because nostalgia can feel painful, but like you're seeing the beauty of it. You're seeing the beauty of the hindsight. You're seeing how far you've come, and you're kind of honoring that, maybe like honoring these last little moments of this big transition, this big changes that you've gone. This reminds me, because it's the dog here, I have my beautiful a drawing that my husband did of our beautiful dog that we had for 15 years when we first got together, and we lost him during quarantine. You know, those last little bit of years, it's like you have to kind of slow down and honor, because those are the last years you have. And that sounds sad, but it's also really beautiful. So it's finding the beauty in your path. And there was all kinds of things, harsh things, great things, and it's kind of honoring it all and not closing our heart to your process, but to like really honor how beautiful the experiences and the memories that you had and you created with certain people. Even if you don't talk to those people anymore, it's like, you know, that was a really funny story. That was hilarious. Or that was such a quirky thing. I kind of missed that weird quirky thing about them. And that's okay. It just honors the experience you had. So this year is about a lot of maturity and growth, but there's a lot of destiny and a lot of alignment happening. So that's a great thing. So I'm going to finish by saying a little prayer for us all. My guides, guardians, angels, ascended masters, and ancestors, allow all mind to connect to those that are listening today. Let us all open our hearts today in opening into love, choosing love in that rainbow bridge, allowing us to have flow, direction, and align destiny so that we can create more love on this planet. So this shift doesn't have to be so painful, but it can be so rewarding, so loving, so honoring of the masculine and the feminine and everyone's perspective, where we can learn how to live in a harmonic unity together and honor each other's perspectives instead of fighting them. Allow us all to come from our hearts, to see through our hearts, and to act on our hearts, knowing that those impulses aren't just impulses, they are divinely guided action, so that we can be more fulfilled and more effective in our lives. And this we pray with gratitude within this 2026 year. May we all find abundance, health, growth, and love. And this we pray. Amen. All right, that is your reading for 2026. I hope that found you well, and I will see you again soon. Have a beautiful day, and namaste.